What is up, everybody? This is Omega Belmung here with a first look for Valkyria Revolution. Valkyria Revolution is developed by Sega. So if you guys don't know what this game is a part of the Valkyria Chronicles franchise. This game is a little bit different. I want to say it's off from the other 3 games that came out before it. It's totally different. But before we get into it, the game is out on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita, so it's a cross-platform game. Of course, you can also do cross saves between them. So if you have them for both systems, you can cross save, which is pretty much you load it up to their cloud, and then you can pull it from the cloud to the other system. So pretty cool stuff. But like I said, this game is close to a little bit of Valkyria Chronicles. It's totally different at the same time. Playing this, it's a little bit weird. I went in thinking, it might be okay. It might not be that great, but I could take like a 6 or a 7, and it's probably around there. It's nothing above that. It's just like an average game, pretty much. It's a really big conflict between itself. It's tough to say because when you're playing this game, it wants to be a Valkyria Chronicles, which is a fantastic game. Strategy, you're able to move your characters around the map without using little squares. It's all freeform based movement. Hide behind these sandbags or houses and things like that. You got your strategy like that. This kind of pulls a little bit from that. You're able to move around this map and hide behind things, but compared to Valkyria Chronicles, where you actually have attacks, you use an attack or a turn to fight. This one is not. It's very pretty much an action-based game. You're fighting. You're up and fighting. You have your swords. You have guns, which is a little bit weird because when you have your sword, of course, that means you're fighting in the moment. You can also do like sneak attacks and stuff, like hide behind sandbags, hide behind walls, and then pop out and shoot them, which you swap into that. It's a weird mixture of, it's trying to be both, but does none of those too well. I mean, they pretty much should have gone just straight action game instead of this kind of weird in between game. It's just trying to be Valkyria Chronicles, but not at the same time it's trying to be its own game, which it's cool to do that, but at the same time you have to implement the game better. The gameplay to itself is just very at this moment I only played about 2 or 3 stages. It's a very dull game. It's not bad, but it's not like really wowing me or anything. It's like, oh, I want to keep coming back and playing it. I mean, I'm going to keep playing it because I want to see what happens, but it's not, the gameplay is pretty much just go in and just fight it straight up. So far, that's what I've done. Of course, I do a sneak attack, shoot one guy, and then, of course, it alerts everybody, and then you have to fight them straight up anyway. So it's weird like that. It's like I said, it's a mixture of both, and it just does nothing right. My biggest main problem with the game so far was pretty much playing the opening of the game. I think that was probably the roughest part of the whole game. It was a lot of talking, and that's my biggest problem. They're trying to throw all these backstory at you and then go into it, which is really weird. I think if they just kind of just let up into the backstories instead of telling you what it is, and then we're like, hey, now we're gonna go play. I wish they kind of just be like, hey, you're playing the backstory, and then you can play, whatever timeline it is now. So it's weird to play like that because there's a lot of talking. You could go like maybe 30-40 minutes, and you'll get to one battle, and then you get to the tutorial battle, and then it's straight talking and things like that. So it's so weird. It's so boring in the beginning, and that's the hardest part. Is there's a difference between a boring game and a bad game. I take a bad game because bad games could actually still be fun, but boring games are just straight boring, and that to me was very boring. It's tough to say what's going. If it keeps doing this, it's going to suck. But so far, it's kind of like, oh, you can take control of your character, which is the main character is Amulet, and he's the main guy that you're controlling. You do get cool, characters and things like that. You get a whole bunch of way too many characters you have to customize. That's one big gripe that I have with the game too, is when I went to customize my characters. Of course, You can make everybody equip the same weapon, the same guns. Everybody has their own, you know, classes like shock class, a shield class, a lancer class, shock trooper, I should say, and then there's like scapper or something like that, sapper, I think that's what it was called. And you have all those different types of classes, but my biggest main problem is hopefully it's just in the beginning here, because of course you can give orders to your characters. They kind of listen to you, kind of don't. You don't really get to play them unless, I guess, you choose them as your character. But there's so, like I said, there's so many characters. You have like 10 something characters in the beginning already, and when you go into customization, when you want to customize your characters for them to become stronger, there's so many things, and they don't tell you that yet. Maybe, you know, they haven't told me that yet, and they want to wait for that. But I looked at it, and I'm just like, what is all this, and what am I doing? I don't want to use any of these Ragnite or something like that. To boost up my characters. I don't know if I need them later. There's so many questions that I'm still trying to ask. Hopefully they will tell me later on, but so many characters, and you know, I don't know what to do with them. But like I said, in the other, you know, in the Valkyria Chronicles, you have all these characters, and it's fine because you could have all of them, and then you can place like 10 of them on the map, or 8 of them on the map, and then you use them to whatever you want to. This one's a little bit weird. It's a little bit tough to say, you know, if you know I will enjoy the game. Like I said, a bad game can be enjoyable, but a boring game can, for me, is not really doing much for me. So hopefully, like you said, we get into more gameplay. I actually got into to where I get to pick which stage I want to do, and of course you can always do the same stage over and over and over again, so you can build up your character's levels and things like that. Maybe farm different you know, different items to get and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Like, you get to that open up map part of the game, but so far, like I said, it's just been story, and then these cutscenes are okay, and then they kind of split the cutscene to something. They kind of just, it's a weird transition to cutscenes. So, like I said, I'm tiny. It's a tiny enjoyment there when I'm playing the game, but at the same time, it's trying to be one thing while trying to be its own thing, and it just doesn't mix that well. That's the pretty much the biggest takeaway for me is trying to be, like I said, its own thing while trying to be like Valkyria Chronicles, and it just doesn't mash up. And then of course the big long story that they're telling in the beginning, that it's actually really long. I actually zoned out and went on, you know, YouTube, and I was just looking at videos and reading stuff on NeoGAF and things like that while while the story was playing. So far, like I said, a little bit of enjoyment. I want to see what, you know, it gives me more. Just keep playing it, and hopefully, like I said, they answer some of my questions that I have. But like I said, you can get the game now on PlayStation Network Store, or a physical copy on the PlayStation 4. I don't know if they have a physical copy for the Vita, but you can get this on the Vita also. It's $39, so it's not too badly priced. Like the Dark Valkyrie. What's the Dark Valkyrie? Whatever that RPG game was again. That one was way too overpriced, but it's about $39. If you're a Prime member, you get it for like $35, or a Best Buy, you know, membership, you get it for $35. I think the Vita might be like $29, or maybe it could be the same price. But like I said, you could cross save between them. So if you have both games, you can save between them and things like that. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the first look for Valkyria Revolution for the PlayStation 4. This is Omega Belma. See everybody next time. Peace out.